Initiative in DC20 0.9 beta. I want to talk about this. This is one of the things of all the released rules in DC20. The initiative system was the most negatively received of any of them, and it was still wildly positive. There was just one aspect of how initiative worked in DC20 that I really wanted to try out, and that's the whole point of playtesting things, is to try out things and change and shake things up. So if you like the initiative system overall, don't worry, the core principles of it is still the same. You still have teams alternating back and forth, giving the true back and forth feel of how initiative's supposed to be. You still have game masters' freedom to be able to choose and strategically be able to alter the order of their enemies and stuff. So it's all still there in place, but we're going to talk about the changes, and mainly it is to that skill challenge check. If you've been around for a while, how it used to work, and then I'm going to talk about the big picture so everyone's all on the same page. It used to be a skill check. You would make a skill check, so then whenever it was time to roll for initiative, your initiative roll was a skill check instead of like an initiative check or something like that, or a dexterity check or whatever from 5th edition where you just use your agility, right? Dexterity, sorry. But instead, that is the part that's being changed. There was a little bit of a slowdown where, all right, roll for initiative. All right, what's everybody doing? And then you talked it out, and they did kind of slow down the feel, and there's places for it, and we'll talk about that because, yes, there is still going to be a variant rule for that. But here's the big picture of how the new streamlined initiative works. So the new thing, this is also going to be new on the 0.9 character sheet, which, yes, I'm going to guess a little sneak peek here. The 0.9 is not out yet, but whenever it is released, it is going to come with a new character sheet, which will have 2 pages. Oh my gosh, yes, 2 pages. One of the things is going to be initiative. There's going to be a spot for initiative. Your initiative is going to be an initiative check, right? So when you roll for initiative, it's going to be an initiative check instead of the skill check type situation. And what an initiative check is simply your prime plus your combat mastery, which is basically like what your attack check is. The shorthand of what I've been playing is everybody makes an attack check, and I just say everybody make an attack check. So if you're playing DC20 right now and you want to switch to this, you just simply ask everybody to make an attack check or a spell check, whatever you want to say. And that roll is a +4 in general. 3 from your prime modifier and 1 from your combat mastery if you're playing at levels 1 and 2, right? But this is exactly what the intent is supposed to be. Everyone is a combat capable. Roll for initiative. Everyone's on the same page when you're rolling for initiative. Awesome. Are there going to be class features? Are there going to be talents? Are there going to be other things that can modify your initiative? Yes, absolutely. There's going to be tons of things like that are possible in the game. But to start the game off, roll the dice, see where everything lands. That is now an initiative check. So you roll for initiative, literally starts it off. Everybody knows exactly what to do, rolls their dice, and the players can see who rolled the highest. And you are still, if you're unfamiliar, I'm going to act like you might not have known this. How initiative works is the group, the team, the entire player character team, the PC team, is rolling against not the game master, having to roll a bunch of dice behind the screens for each monster and have to also roll initiative for monsters. No. The game master does not roll for initiative. The player characters all roll for initiative against the initiative DC that is set by the game master beforehand, right? They are trying to beat this DC that is set. If the player character team beats it, one person. If any of the player characters beat it, the player character team goes first. If they fail and nobody beats it, the enemy team goes first. And then whichever team goes first, it's an alternating back and forth between the two teams as you go on through. The order for the PC team is the literal order that their initiative was rolled for. So whoever went first or whoever beat the DC or may or may not have beaten it, that is the player character team's order. Done. That is locked in. And let's say there's 3 player characters for sake of my own hands. So 3 player characters versus 3 enemies. Let's say the player character team, it would literally be alternating. Oh, let's say they lost. It would be alternating like this. Enemy, good guy, enemy, good guy, enemy, good guy. Back and forth, right? Now the order of the game master's side is dependent on the game master. They get to choose where to put their enemies. Do they want the BBG to go first? Do they want their secret guy and the spellcaster to go last? So many creative decisions, whether it be tactical or roleplay reasons. A little quick tip here, game master tip from myself. I love to choose. I almost let the player characters, now they may or may not have picked up on this, but I let them they choose the initiative of the bad guys because I kind of base it off of a reaction to who they attack. So let's say it's a 3-on-3 and the barbarian runs in and hits the giant bear creature. Well, I'm probably going to go and activate the bear creature first, and they're going to attack and stuff. That's probably what I'm going to do. It just makes sense. It feels right also as far as how the combat unfolds. So that is how the initiative plays out, just like how it's been. Still the same initiative DC that everybody's been loving, and the alternating teams back and forth. That fixes so many things. But there is no more help action. That is another thing that's been taken out of the system, where you can give a help action and then you roll flat. That's just essentially broken. People could just like, everyone help this one guy, and then you always win. So that was, that's gone. And then this is a thing that people slip through the cracks. I've watched some live plays and stuff like that, but natural 20s and natural 1s on initiative matter. Something special happens. On a natural 1, you are exposed to the next attack against you. Just like if you didn't know this also in DC20, if you make a natural 1 on an attack check or a spell check in combat, you are exposed to the next attack against you. If you didn't know that, there you go. And the same thing is true for initiative. And on natural 20s though, on natural 20s, you go first. Straight up, you go first. Awesome, great. And you have advantage on one check you make on your first turn, right? You can choose for that to be an attack. You can choose for it to be wherever you want within that first, your first turn. But you get basically an advantage coupon to throw down. There you go. Right now, that might change also whenever I release how inspiration works and other things like that. And that might be a tie-in right there. But we'll get back to that later. But another thing that people don't know about, that I honestly don't know if it's even in the rules, because I've just been running it like this myself, and I should probably double check that, but this is going to be in the 0.9, is if you get a natural 20, so let's say we're player characters, right? If one of the player characters gets a natural 20, they just go first. Awesome, cool, nice. But there's more. If you get a natural 20 and the next highest person, because it would feel bad if Susie gets a natural 20 and then everybody else at the table is like, well, okay, now their order only matters for like this order. There's still some extra cool thing that can happen. If one player gets a natural 20, if the next highest player still also beats the initiative DC, meaning there's a natural 20 and the next highest person still beat it, 2 players get to go back to back before the bad guys. So then instead of this analogy I gave before where it goes player, character, enemy, it will go to player, character, enemy. And that's the true jump you can get on the enemy is when you get a natural 20 on the initiative check, and there's all that right there. So now, again, that is another rule we're playtesting. If that seems weird or clunky or bad or broken or whatever, that one might be removed. But this is the 0.9 playtest of initiative. I'm super excited for that, along with many other things that are going to be coming and rolling out. Inspiration might be another one of those that gets into 0.9, along with subclasses, which is the biggest, most important thing, as well as maybe the armor and shields rework. Y'all love the weapon system, so check out, there might be a armor and shields system that it works the same way. Y'all love the weapons so much, we're like, well, all right, let's look at the rest of the equipment and see if we can build it up like this. So stay tuned for more. That is the big picture for initiative 0.9. Stay creative, thanks to the box. Peace.